Alright, what is up guys? Izzy here back with another video, and today we actually, so I really want to talk about this because this is kind of crazy. So today we're going to be talking about, of course, the state of Warframe. So as of the new update, we of course got the Angels of Zariman with a new, well, quote-unquote HUD. I guess you could say it kind of, not really an open world, but kind of works somewhat similar to what it would be. It kind of works like Deimos, but without the, without Deimos, the actual open world. But anyways, the point is, I wanted to talk about the state of it because, my god, maybe it's because of the fact that I've mostly been a console player for the majority of the 6 to 7 years that I've been playing the game. However, I kind of find it extremely crazy how this update has broken not only in terms of bugs, but just in general, the game itself. And we're gonna get into it just now, but I just want to go ahead and talk about the fact that how terrible it is, the fact that the update is so bugged out, so broken, that you can't even play the main reason this update was even released for, which was the Zariman. Now, what I mean by that is how broken currently the bounties are. Right now, I have not been able to do a single bounty at all because of the fact that how bugged it is. Now, the first time that I did play one of the bounties, I actually did it on stream, and I was trying to do one of the level 1 bounties because I just kind of wanted to see how it would work. And I did happen to finish the first objective of the mission, which I believe was kind of like an exterminate. I can't exactly say what it was because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was somewhat of an exterminate mission. We did finish the exterminate mission, and then we had another objective where we had to find something, we had to extract something somewhere, and the way that the bounty was telling me was it was something that it was supposed to be marked. However, on the map itself, there was absolutely no markers at all. There wasn't actually anything at all leading me to what I needed to go for, which, I mean, would be completely fine if it was something that was completely obvious. However, I literally spent the next 20 to 30 minutes or so exploring the entirety of the map, trying to verify where I could find this object, this artifact that it was telling me to find, because I thought, okay, maybe this is something that I need to find on my own, because I thought maybe this was kind of like something that was a side objective, but after finishing the exterminate, it was kind of apparent that I had to find it regardless. So I really tried to find it, and I could literally find nothing on the map at all in order to get it, and well, I ended up just, quitting the bounty and just going back to my orbiter. So it was kind of upsetting, but I thought, you know what, this is fine. I mean, I'll try it again at some point. I did end stream after that because I was pretty hungry. Irrelevant. But afterwards, I've tried to do the bounties more than 3 times. And the last time that I actually did do one of the bounties, of course, all these times that I've been trying to do them, I have not been able to finish none of them. And it's not because of the difficulty, it has nothing to do with that. It's because of how bugged it is. The last bounty that I did, it was actually last night. I was with my cousin on Discord voice chat. We were just chilling, I was just streaming the game to him because he wanted to go ahead and see, what the new things are in Warframe. And I was trying to showcase him the new place and kind of how the bounties worked. Of course, at this time, I was like, well, you know what? It's bugged. It got bugged before. I don't think it's going to do it again. And to my surprise, it did. We literally were... I was actually doing a public void cascade, I think it was called. Kind of weird name, but whatever. I'll allow it. And right when we were getting the 6th cascade, I believe it's called. I don't know how the objective was called in general. I knew we had to do 6 of them in order to then get to extraction. However, we hit 6 and nothing happened. We continued because we thought, okay, maybe after doing a couple more, it'll let us go to extraction. And it's not like I was playing with any noobs. We were actually playing with pretty high MR players. 25, 26. I believe there was one that was maxed. And none of us had any idea what was going on. I thought maybe this is normal because they weren't saying anything at the beginning after we hit 6. But then afterwards, they started talking and they were like, what's going on? And that's when I started to get concerned. I was like, all right, this is actually fucking weird. Like, what's going on? It went so far that we ended up, after like 30 minutes or so of literally doing endless void cascades, we decided to let the objective, you know, just go down. Just go down. And we did. And we actually got the extraction marker. We were like, okay, that's phenomenal. Let's get to extraction. However, something happened that in all my years of Warframe, and at least my 1 year on PC, has never happened before. If you're a controller player on Warframe, you're probably accustomed to using DS4 Windows. Well, my DS4 Windows actually got extremely bugged once the extraction marker came up. And it was very weird because it would not allow me to control my camera very well. So it kept on shaking, and I thought initially it was just a part of the immersion, because I thought, you know what, well, I mean, we're losing life, and it's like everything is just like getting all fucked up around us. Then it's normal, you know? But then we got to the extraction, and we weren't actually able to extract. We weren't able to press any of the buttons on the elevator to actually abort the mission. So after about 5 or so minutes of trying to just, you know, going in and out of the elevator to see if it would trigger to extract, we decided to leave, which I was pretty upset about. I mean, come on, we literally spent around like 40 or so minutes of doing this bounty, and we literally got nothing. Like, we get nothing out of this. Like, we did not get any of the standing, no rewards. We just wasted 40 minutes of our time doing nothing. And that upsets me, because, I mean, for anyone that plays Warframe somewhat casually, I personally play, I think personally kind of casually on PC. So for me to usually give it like 3 to 4 hours a day, wasting 40 minutes of it for literally not getting anything was kind of, you know, it just, you know, rubbed me the wrong way. But then, you know, after pausing and after going to my orbiter, I immediately noticed that my screen, not only my screen, but my Warframe in general kept shaking. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And I was already kind of like, you know, throwing red cards all over the place, because whenever I paused the game when I was in the bounty, it kept shaking. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. So we ended up, or I ended up rather, closing the application. And well, what do you know, my mouse cursor was just shaking all over the place when I closed the application. And I was like, okay, that's fucking weird. Like, that has never happened to me. And I was like, okay, this actually kind of speaks volumes on how broken this update is. This has never happened to me, and I initially thought that it was nothing to do with the game itself, but it's too much of a coincidence that literally after we failed the bounty, basically, is when it happened. So I don't know, there's probably something there that kind of caused, you know, the whole applications to just go apeshit. And, you know, it went back to normal afterwards. I did close DS4 Windows, I disconnected my controller, I placed everything back afterwards, and we're all good. I did not, however, try to do any other bounty after that, because it was literally just a waste of fucking time. Like, I was not about to waste another 30 to 40 minutes doing the same exact thing if it's happened already multiple times. This did, however, I can't speak, Jesus, I can't speak, this did spark our curiosity, and we did started to go ahead and, you know, research Reddit to see kind of like what people are saying in the community about this. And holy shit, have we have we struck gold on like how much this update has kind of like, you know, like normal for Warframe, right? Normal for Warframe to always just throw out an update and there's a cascade of fucking get it, cascade, a cascade of fucking bugs to you. That's totally normal, right? However, it's not just about the bugs, it's about the content itself. Now, one of the comments that I think kind of captured best how to describe some of the changes that they made in this update was regarding the Eximus. Now, the Eximus rework is it's really nice. I personally think it's really good, and to me, it's you know, it's not too big. Honestly, it's really good, but it's not too big. I mean, I feel like most Eximus, aside from having unique abilities, are just more so bullet sponges, more than they used to be, basically. However, and this comment was probably the best to describe the biggest concern, the biggest issue with the rework is they made the Eximus hard for the wrong players. And you might be wondering, well, who are the wrong players then? Well, this is bad for new players. The reason why is, alright, we're gonna start diving into like, I guess this could be somewhat like opinion based, but I'm basing my opinion off of most of the posts that I've been able to see and my personal experience starting the game over. And I can definitely tell you that, yeah, this is probably super fucking bad. Like, you don't get really good weapons at all for smaller, or for players that start the game. You don't happen to get really good weapons until much, much later on in the game. So, for players that are starting the game, maybe, you know, started to get the syndicates and, you know, making their way up to get the sorties, whenever they encounter a fucking Eximus, they are going to shit their pants, because they are going to struggle so hard to even, you know, kill any of these Eximus. They're gonna get fucking manhandled by these. And I understand some people, a lot of the veterans, really wanted a somewhat of a difficulty spike, but I think all of us, veterans, quote unquote, could agree that this is not challenging. This is not challenging for any of the veteran players. Like, this is just somewhat, just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of like, well, I mean, it's a little bit harder than they used to be before, but that's about it. And not much of it. Maybe some of the players that play hours-long survivals will see some of the, you know, difficulty spikes, but I highly doubt it. But for newer players, this is where it actually is going to start being super difficult. I think you could compare this to encountering Stalker for the first time as a very, very low MR player, or just in general a new player. You're actually gonna shit your pants, but you're not really going to encounter Stalker as much. But with this new update, those Eximus strongholds, or not strongholds, those Eximus units in general are gonna be like Stalker Part 2. And you're going to encounter them most of the time, because I'm pretty sure they spawn pretty frequently, at least once or twice in a mission. I'm not 100% sure on the math on that, but I'm pretty fucking positive. In every single mission, you're more than likely going to encounter at least one Eximus. And if it's an exterminate mission, or if it's a, any mission really, it could be a nightmare for any player that's playing solo and they're new. It's gonna be bad. You don't get really good weapons when you're a low MR player. Actually, let me take a look here at a list of what, like, low MR weapons would be. And yeah, one second, let's see. Yeah, so as you can see, like, you only get like really, really good weapons probably starting like MR6. Let's take a look. Like, there's Ignis on Mastery Rank 5, but you're gonna need a shitload of fucking format to actually make that weapon any good. You have things like similar Taunt Core. Like, these weapons are really good. These weapons are really good at Mastery Rank, what, fucking 5? But they need a lot of format to actually make them good. And as a low MR player, you're probably not gonna get a lot of forma. In fact, most of the forma that you're gonna get, you're either going to spend it trying to build weapons or make better use of them in your warframes. And I guess, I mean, that's completely opinion based. Like, yeah, sure, it's better used on warframes in my opinion, but yeah, like you're more than likely just gonna be using them for building stuff. And in general, for lower MR players, it's probably harder to get a lot of forma because of the missions that you have to do to get them, right? So yeah, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of weapons at low MR that are really good. In fact, like some of the S tier weapons are in categories such as like Master Rank 8 and above. So yeah, that kind of sucks. At least for primaries. For secondaries, it gets even worse because most of the really good secondary weapons are like either very high MR, or the method to unlock them is like a shit show. Same goes for melee, but melee is a little bit more forgiving. It's still pretty bad though. Like it still gets bad. Like I said, like the comment is very accurate. This is hard for the wrong type of player. You cannot imagine being a low MR or being a new player in general and enjoying your time in Warframe. You know, just started, you've been playing for like 3 hours already, and you're like, man, I'm actually gonna get into this game. And then bam, you start encountering these cuckolds of fucking Eximus units. And then you're like, damn, dude, how the fuck am I supposed to progress in this garbage ass game? And boom, you quit. That's exactly how a lot of the players are gonna view this game as when they start. And this is really bad for Warframe. I know veterans are probably be like, you know what? They're fucking weak. Get good. Whatever. Well, you know, that's great and all, but we really need those new players to keep this fucking game alive. I mean, this is a free-to-play game, and one of the ways that a fucking free-to-play game, you know, kind of stays alive is by continuing to grow. If this game does not grow, if this game continues to be the way that it is, and continues to be hard for newer players in terms of not just the difficulty spike that Eximus units are now, but how much of a clusterfuck to start this game is. Because let me tell you, this game is structured in a way that if you don't have a guide as to what to do when you start this game, you are either gonna get lost, lose interest, or you're literally gonna do stuff that aren't anything to do, or don't have anything to do with progressing in this game. And you're going to miss out on so many things, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of the new players that start playing this game don't have any idea of how to start or how syndicates work in general. Not only that, but there's things like focus that are kind of hard to explain to a newer player, or not hard to explain, but hard to understand if you're a new player and you literally finish, let's say, the fucking quest that starts allowing you to get focus, and you're like, okay, how the fuck does this work? Or you're gonna ignore it entirely because you're not gonna understand that that's actually a mechanic. This game has a lot of layers, a lot of things to do, a lot of like standing in general. There's so many syndicates, so many different factions that you can support, and it makes it really hard for people that start this game to understand or get a grasp of, you know, kind of what to do when you're starting this game. Obviously, of course, if you have people helping you, that's great, which this community has been very helpful. I mean, I can't really complain too much about the Warframe community, because I have had a lot of people, or have seen rather, a lot of people be very helpful towards newer players. But those newer players that aren't as fortunate to get people to help them out, or have the knowledge to find a guide, or maybe they find the wrong type of guide, or the guides in general might not be too clear on what to do, they're going to get lost. Especially because, I mean, sure, you could say, hey, well, you could look up a guide on Google and it's way easier that way. Cool. What type of fucking guide am I supposed to... There's so many guides for Warframe that if I were to be an actual new player, I would not know which fucking guide to get, because there's so many things. How am I supposed to know what I'm looking for if I'm already lost? So, in general, this is really bad for Warframe. I'm babbling on, and I've been babbling on for too long, and I am sorry, but it's just kind of like the state of Warframe right now is kind of fucked up. Like, this new update, and it's kind of weird because you would imagine that they would have thought about this before dropping the update, because it would make sense that Eximus kind of like scale off of what the level of the planets are, but I've seen so many people actually struggling with the Eximus units, not just really new players, but casual players in general. And I know there's veterans out there that are like, fuck casuals, bro. I want to have really hard content, and that's cool, but casual players is kind of like what keeps the game alive, you know? Because I know of a lot of veteran players that maybe play 1 month of the game and then bam, they disappear for a whole ass year, and then they come back, they're like, bro, I am an MR 28 player. I've been playing this game for 10 years, and you know what I mean. I'm not throwing shade to veteran players, because I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone, but I mean, we should be understanding of why this is such a bad thing, right? It's not just about the fact that this update was released bugged. It's the fact that this is very, very unbalanced, and there's a difference when there's a weapon that gets released and it's super unbalanced, when or versus a unit, an enemy that was released that is very unbalanced and very unfair to the newer players, because this is gonna be what their first experience is going to be with the game. And to be quite honest, if that were to be my first experience with the game, I might have not continued to play Warframe as much as I do play Warframe now. Like I said, I mean, I've played Warframe for years. I have 2 accounts. I play on console, I play on PC. I am very tempted to play Warframe on my Switch, though I don't think I will, honestly. Like, I'm already jam-packed with playing fucking console Warframe and PC Warframe, but I digress. The point is, the state of Warframe right now is kind of weird. It's kind of funky, and I really think that DE... I mean, I understand them not wanting to increase the amount of employees that are working on Warframe. I'm not sure if that's been the case now recently, because I haven't kept up with the news in terms of that. But I don't think this quality of updates should be acceptable from them. I know this is a live service game, and I'm not complaining about that. I mean, I know we're definitely always going to get some sort of glitches, some sort of bugs, but releasing a unit that's completely, or an enemy in general, that newer players are going to struggle with, and if that wasn't something that crossed your mind, there's definitely some issues there, But anyways, I just kind of wanted to bring, kind of my opinion on the matter. I know no one asked. You're probably going to be on comments like, who fucking asked? Like, no one did. I literally just thought, you know what, I just want to talk about it, man, because it's kind of crazy. I saw so many people having issues with the Eximus units. I actually saw someone having issues with an Eximus stronghold on a mobile defense, and it was kind of a nightmare. I also saw someone, this actually was kind of crazy. The Eximus units actually were able to one-shot the defense objective during the time that the Limbo was recasting their Cataclysm. That's actually kind of wild, because the recast time isn't that long. So by them being able to absolutely demolish the defense objective, it's kind of wild. They were doing a long endurance, and obviously those Eximus units were at a high level, but that kind of just goes to show, like how strong they currently are, that it didn't even give the Limbo enough time to recast the Cataclysm. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's kind of my opinion on it. I really enjoyed the quest. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really love playing Warframe, and I really enjoyed playing for the quest. And thankfully, throughout the whole quest, I did not encounter any bugs at all. But it's kind of been a little bit downhill after finishing the quest. I've not been able to enjoy most of the content other than the fashion frame that we were brought. But you know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for, I guess, listening to me rambling on. And, yeah, if you guys like this type of content, I can definitely, you know, make more content regarding this. But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you probably on the next video. Goodbye.